I've spent over a decade chasing my dream to become a Formula 1 driver. I've raced all over the world and even won championships in Formula 4 and Formula 3. But none of that has prepared me for this.
Oh, me. This is bad. This is real bad.
Here at the 24 Hours of Bulgaria, your resume means nothing. 280 drivers across 53 teams will battle it out on national TV. Everyone will race the same karts, and the track literally changes direction halfway through the race. I've been invited to join the All-Stars, a pro team meant to take on Europe's best drivers. Originally, I was supposed to team up with Bulgaria's Red Bull-sponsored Formula 2 driver, Nicola Solo. But since he got called away last minute on media duties, my replacement teammates are now 2 karting world champions and a 14-year-old Formula 4 prodigy. This will be, by far, the hardest kart race of my life. And believe it or not, it might even be harder than winning a race in 3. So the question isn't whether we can win, but whether I'll even be able to survive 24 hours in one of the world's hardest races. I guess there's only one way to find out. This is the 24 Hours of Bulgaria.
This race is different than any other 24-hour I've ever done.
I'm starting off with the reverse layout, which will be used for the second half of the 24-hour.
And that's down to a few key reasons. The first is that the entire direction of the track changes 12 hours into the race. So we're going to start off in the anti-clockwise direction, and then around midnight, 12:30 a.m., we're going to switch directions entirely and drive on a completely different racetrack. So not only do I have to learn one new track for this 24-hour, I've got to learn 2. Unlike any of the other 24 hours I've done, we're actually going to be changing karts every single time we come into the pit. So this one's less about doing a speedy driver change and more about strategizing when to come into the pits in order to get a good kart. And the way we're going to do that is, from what I'm told, I think the team actually has some software to keep track of which karts look fast out there and which ones we definitely do not want. The idea is we have a maximum stint time of 70 minutes, so it has nothing to do with like stretching the fuel or anything. But if we have a good kart, we're going to want to stretch it all the way to the 70 minutes. If we have a bad kart, we have a minimum stint time of 10 minutes. And if it's really bad, we might come in pretty much straight on the dot in that 10 minutes and try and swap into a better one. So as always in rental karting is a huge factor in your performance, but at least this time we'll have a little bit of control as to how good the kart is underneath of us.
I have no idea which way I'm going in either direction, so I gotta really load this track today. I'm looking out for my teammates. I don't even know what their helmets look like, but they're supposed to be giving me some pointers. I'm gonna try and follow their line. I think this is them. So we've got Lubo there in the front. He's 14 years old, currently driving an F4, or testing an F4, but he's a local to this track. Actually, he got his first ever race win here, ever, so he knows this place like the back of his hand. Mateo is a world champion rental karter in Saudi World Series, but he's never been here, so I better shut up and drive, because they're already gapping me. Ooh, bit of hop in this kart. Big brake zone, it's gonna be good for overtaking. These are 390cc Saudi SR4s, so while I know the engine, the chassis is a bit different to what I'm used to. This kart handles differently to the RT10s, but from what I understand, I'll probably end up preferring the balance of this kart, at least at the beginning of the race, than I will the RT10. In terms of results, this is probably the most stacked rental karting team I've ever had. I'm definitely the weak link. Of course, I've got my results in cars, but in karting and rental karting, I've never raced on the level that these guys have, so I've got some work to do.
Now, you think our team is actually pretty stacked, right? We've got 2 Saudi World Finals champions, we've got a top-level race karter, and of course, my results aren't too shabby in cars either. But with that being said, there are some of the fastest rental karters in the entire world at this race, and I know I say that every race, but this might be like on a totally different level.
And don't just take my word for it, you'll see what I mean in a minute.
Everyone's driving the same kart. We've got 3 different classes, the Pro, the Gold, and the Silver. We're fighting in the Pro category, which, I mean, some of the teams that have rocked up here are internationally recognized, and I think for us to win this race, we'd have to have the absolute perfect storm, and with 0 mistakes, and maybe we'll have a shot. But podium, I think it might be realistic, but we're gonna have to be perfect.
So qualifying for this race works like a mini endurance race of its own. We have a full hour to set our fastest lap time, but there are a couple of caveats. The first is that at least 2 drivers from the team have to drive the kart during qualifying. And the second is that we must drive at least 3 karts in the 1 hour time span. But perhaps most important of all is whatever kart we finish qualifying with is going to be our karts to start the race. So this quali isn't just about sheer pace, but we've got to have some pretty serious strategy too.
It's all about to kick off. Qualifying, all the karts are lined up on the grid. A couple of drivers coming in late here. Yeah, this is gonna be really hectic, right? Because normally qualifying doesn't really matter that much for a 24-hour race, but here it absolutely does. Because it's less about where you actually start the race, but more about what kart you're going to start the race with. So this is gonna be a mad dash for people coming in and out of the pits trying to get that magical kart. Yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. My teammates who have done this type of event before, they've done up to 9 kart changes and a 60-minute qualifying. In fact, I think Lubo's even done a 15-minute qualifying and changed karts 7 times. So this is going to be really fun to watch, but God, I hope we start this race off with a good kart.
And man, am I glad that Nicholas is in the kart right now. Despite not having done practice yesterday, he is very well experienced around this track and in these karts, so we knew he was the man for the job. In addition to trying to put down a fast lap time, he's also trying to evaluate the kart to see if maybe it's worth coming in for a better one.
Nicholas came in immediately, which I guess means he wasn't happy with the kart, so I think he might have swapped already. Why Mateo's getting suited up and ready, I'm not sure, but yeah, something's kicking off.
Believe it or not, his first lap time was actually pretty respectable, even though he did love the kart, but at least he's got one of his mandatory kart changes out of the way. But unfortunately for him, he could feel pretty much straight away that this kart just didn't have the bottom end to get the acceleration out of the corners, so he instantly came back in for a new kart.
Looks like he's not happy with that kart either, and he didn't improve, but I think we have some live timing issues. I believe we're now running under kart number 6. It's a little bit confusing at the moment, but according to the live timing, we've fallen down to P19. Let's see how he does in the new kart.
But then in his third kart, Nicholas immediately looked more comfortable and very racy amongst the karts around him. All 54 teams are out on track right now, so as much as we should be focused on single lap pace, it's really starting to look like the race has already begun.
The other thing Nicholas is having to manage out there is traffic. Now we've got 54 karts on track, and in theory, all of the fastest drivers from all the teams are probably out there right now, so you'd think it wouldn't be too bad, but already I'm seeing him overtake karts. He's just got pace on, of course, the drivers in the slower classes, so they might all be the same karts, but the driver's skill level is definitely varied across the field. Hopefully he can get a bit of clean air, and maybe, if we're lucky, a little bit of slipstream as well.
But somehow, despite the traffic, Nicholas was putting in some ridiculous lap times.
Regardless, he's absolutely flying out there. He's currently P3 with a 58.64. P1 time is a 58.3. Oh, he's just gone P1. He's on pole, 58.27. That, I believe, is the fastest lap we've seen all weekend, and these tires are already a day and a half old, so man is cooking. I'm beginning to think we hired the right guy for the job.
Things are definitely looking on the up, but there is a bit of a strategic decision to make here.
The trouble is, he's currently P1 and a healthy P1, but there's still 38 minutes left in this qualifying session. This is a dynamic I've never really experienced before. So whether he's able to hold on to that or whether he has to just keep pounding and pounding around is another story. I really don't know the answer to that, but clearly this is a decent kart, so he's probably going to want to hold on to it for at least 38 minutes so that we can start this race with this kart. This is crazy. 30 seconds to go. Nicholas has just done a time that's put us P2, only 0.02 of a second off of pole position. This is ridiculous. I'm looking at the timings here. Top 24 are within 0.4. I've never seen anything like this. It's unbelievable. Top 3 are within 100th of a second. Top 4 are within 300ths of a second. This is crazy. There we go. That's an impressive job from Nicholas to just rock up there. and put it in P2 officially. Well, that's not a bad place to start a 24-hour race, I must say. Oh, this is gonna be a good one. Nicely done. Very nicely done. Well, that was close, man. 2000s. 2000s. Unbelievable. Not bad for someone who just rocked up this morning. And at the end, were you saving tires for the end?
2 minutes for finish. I was 1/10 faster than my fastest lap, but I have slipstream, but it was too slow in the last corner and I lose 1.5 tenths. The chassis is really good. I think the engine is good, but not the best. Here's a better engine. I'm happy for him, but I think it's better when we are P1 and he are P2.
Yeah. I think we can work from there.
The race is long.
Yes. Long race. Let's see what happens.
To put that insane qualifying session into perspective, the top 50 cars all qualified within 1 second. Go ahead, name me any other race in any other vehicle where the field is that tight. So if I wasn't nervous before about my own performance, I certainly am now. But before we were ready to start this epic race, I had a rather important question to ask my teammates.
What about rest periods? What are we thinking? Are we gonna go for like long naps? Are we gonna try and organize that, or will we just push through it and I'll be around here like all the time?
I will try to push through it. About them, I don't know, but about me, I know.
I don't know about you guys. I need a nap. I'm gonna need a nap at some point. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be functional. I guess we'll play it by ear a little bit, see how the first couple of stints go, and take it from there. The way this race start is going to work is all the karts are going to be lined up on this side of the grid, and then all the drivers who will be starting the race will be lined up on this side of the grid. This is known as a Le Mans style start because all the drivers on the green flag will run across the track, get in their karts as quickly as possible, and try and accelerate off into the lead, at least in theory. So that means even though we've qualified P2, we very well could be in P1 by turn 1, but that also means we very well could be P54 if something goes wrong. So yeah, the pressure is on whoever is starting this race.
Now is the moment of truth. What happens on this race start could very well seal our fate for this race, so Nicholas better be on his A game.
It's an excellent start from Nicholas Kruger for the All-Stars racing team. That'll be exactly the start they were looking for. He'll be wanting to run away with it now while the chaos unfolds behind. 56 teams are racing today, but there will be only one winner.
While Nicholas was able to pull off the textbook race start, the same could be said for some of the drivers behind us. And in a matter of just a few laps, Nicholas has already caught up to the back of the field, which certainly is going to make holding this lead even harder.
I can't believe how far in the lead the All-Stars are already. This is incredible stuff.
These races are notoriously elbows out, probably a lot more than you could ever get away with in the UK or in the US, which makes it fun, but even these guys have a limit. So when we're talking about the first 5 minutes of a 24-hour race, the last thing we want is to get taken out. Right now, Nicholas is still in a great position, holding the lead. P2 is closing in a little bit lap by lap, but really when things are gonna get hot and heated is when we start lapping traffic. That's when this race is gonna get a lot spicier. For now, Nicholas has just gotta put his heads down and send it as much as he possibly can.
Those first few back markers have slowed up Nicholas way more than we would have liked, and now P2 and P3 are catching rather quickly. I don't want to panic just yet, but if these guys don't want to work together, then this could be a really tricky situation. Luckily, Nicholas is a smart driver, so when the driver in the red suit, who was previously P3, overtook him, he decided to let him do the work through the track. He really just needs to be careful that he doesn't let anyone else in between them. And just like that, the traffic could just as well play in our favor too. Judging from Nicholas's body language, I think he believes he has better pace than his driver in the red suit, but I think the smart thing is for them to just work together for now. Either way, the racing is way more elbows out here in Bulgaria than I was expecting. This is supposed to be an endurance race after all, right?
I've been seeing a lot of drivers throw up hands and kind of doing one of these because I think right now everybody's more or less driving like it's a sprint race, but some drivers are like, look, let's just work together. We've got 24 hours here. Having one position now isn't going to make that big of a difference. So yeah, this is where qualifying up front is one of the biggest advantages you can have for an endurance race. Even though it technically doesn't matter that much, at least you're not going to be stuck in traffic and you're not going to have to convince someone to work with you. Nicholas has just got to put his heads down and focus. Okay, so they've been battling a little bit, P1 and P2, and now Nicholas is back in the lead. I don't know how that's happened, but now the kart that was in P3 has overtaken Belamis, the Belgian and Dutch team. Those three are definitely pulling away, boding well for us as a team. But Nicholas is probably our fastest driver. Lubo's probably very, very close. Mateo's very close to him. And then there's me, probably 5-6 tenths off a lap. So I hate being the weak link in a team, but when you've got a team this stacked, what can you do? So before we do our first pit stop, I've got to explain how it works for this race because it's different than any other race I've done before. So first things first, the maximum stint time of any driver is 70 minutes. If you go over that, you're going to get a penalty. So Nicholas, who is in a good kart now, is going to do the maximum stint time. So he's going to come in just before 70 minutes, come through the pit lane, just like qualifying, come around, swap karts. They're going to take the number off his kart and put it on the first one in the queue. He's going to then get in that kart and drive up to this tent, which has a screen hanging down. There's a minimum pit stop time, which I believe is 2 minutes, 15 seconds. And then he's gonna go to that tent and he's gonna sit there and wait.
But there's a caveat to that, so let me explain. The sensor where your pit stop time is measured is actually quite a bit further down the pit lane past the monitor. And by our calculations,
7 seconds to go from basically there to there from 0.
Yeah, 7 or 8 seconds.
Cutting it close.
You need to calculate.
Now you may be thinking to yourself, why don't we just give ourselves a 2-second buffer and let's say exit the pits at 2 minutes and 17 seconds instead of 2 minutes 15? Well, the problem is that we have 30 pit stops for this race. So if we take an extra 2 seconds for all 30 pit stops, that's an extra lap by the end of this race. And it goes without saying, but a lap in a race this competitive could be the difference between winning and finishing 10th. Now, the maximum stint time is actually determined by your class. Since we're in the pro category, we have a maximum stint time of 70 minutes, but the other classes, pro and silver, have 60 and 50 minute stint times respectively. But let's say you have a bad kart and you pit 10 minutes into your stint, that is the end of your stint and you can do a maximum of 2 in a row. We obviously want to maximize the 70 minutes as much as we can, but the priority is on having a fast kart.
We're 65 minutes into this race. Maximum stint time is 70 minutes. We're just trying to maximize on stint time here. Now, why would we do that rather than pitting in early to get a good kart? Well, because it's the first stint of the race, all of the good teams that have a good kart are just going to try and maximize that 70 minutes. There's no point for them to pit early because all the good karts are going to be ready in that 69 minute to 70 minute mark. Now, later in the race, let's say 3-4 hours in, that's when everything goes completely haywire and it becomes much more down to identifying the good karts and strategizing when to pit to get them. A couple more minutes and we'll have our first pit stop of this race. 1:39 p.m. right now. I hope someone's told him to box.
Box, one more. Box, okay, yes.
He should be coming in the box now, right?
Yeah, he's gonna box now and he's gonna do a double stint.
Okay. Yeah, I think it makes sense to put him in for. He's comfortable right now. He's happy, so we may as well keep him out there.
Pace-wise, we're the same as him. Maybe even me, I'm a bit faster, but we're really close, me and him.
Okay. And by we, he means him. He is close.
Alright, so time for our first pit stop of this race. So once he pulls into the garage bay, he grabs all of his belongings and goes to get weighed. Since he'll be double stinting, he then gets back into a new cart as designated by the event organizers and heads to the queue. And he'll wait here until he reaches the 2 minutes and 15-second minimum pit stop window.
See, there's a massive queue of carts right now because anyone that had a decent cart is going to be in the pits right now for their first stop. We're right on that 70-minute mark.
While it sounds fairly straightforward, it really isn't. Nicholas ended up going a little bit too early, but we managed to stop him just in time. But because he's past the display, we need to relay to him what time to leave based on his distance to the pit exit point.
What was the time?
2:16 for the first pit is perfect.
Perfect, right on the money. Oh.
We managed to get through that by the skin of our teeth, but we weren't exactly sure where we stood after that pit stop.
Okay, so they're completing their first lap now after leaving the pits, and I think we've done quite well. We are now 3.5 seconds ahead of P2, but Belamis, who is currently in P3, is 5.5 seconds back. So they actually gained about 2 seconds on us in the pit stop there. Not ideal, but we're still in a healthy place. Nicholas is now in for another stint. He'll likely do the full 70 minutes. Yeah, let's see if he can hold that lead.
The reason we elected for Nicholas to double stint is we just wanted to have a consistent start to this race. Nicholas is incredibly experienced and clearly the quickest driver of the bunch right now, but at the same time, we were still kind of confused how we even lost time in the pits. After all, we were right on the cusp of being legal in the first place, so how could anyone have gained on us?
Okay, so big drama happened in that last pit stop that I didn't quite catch on at the time. So Belamis, who has been right on our gearbox for the last, I don't know, hour and a bit, unfortunately made a bit of a mistake in the pit stop. So 2 minutes 15 is the minimum pit stop time. They left quite a bit too early, 2 minutes 11. So they ended up getting a 15-second time penalty, which they're gonna be serving in their next driver change. One of the cool things about this series is you can actually argue that you didn't deserve that for whatever reason, or let's say you have a penalty on track, you'll either get a 1-lap penalty where they'll take a lap away from your race, or you'll get a time penalty that you only serve in the pits. So you have time to argue your case and hopefully get that rescinded. But in their case, it was cut and dry, and now we're sitting 28 seconds in the lead, at least technically speaking.
This is the buffer we need, and Nicholas just needs to get his head down and get through the traffic as quickly as possible. But it looks like some back markers are easier to overtake than others. And to be honest, it's kind of hard to tell who is a back marker and who isn't. Unlike other multi-class events I've done, there isn't really a distinction between the pro, silver, and gold categories. To know who you're actually fighting with for position, you basically just need to know the other driver's suit and helmet and what team they're on. So that means despite some of these karts being in a different class than us, they are still fighting Nicholas as if it was for position.
We're nearly 2 hours into this race, and we're very much at that phase where you really can't tell who is leading. I mean, we know from live timing that we are leading, but the karts are all mixed up, you know. Teams have already started swapping drivers, and likely they had their fastest driver in for that first pit. So now we might have some of the slower drivers in the kart, and that means there's all sorts of different paces. It's really, honestly, quite difficult to keep track of who's fighting who, especially because in this series, unlike some other ones I've done, there'd normally be a plate, a different license plate basically in each kart who you're actually fighting against. But in this case, pretty much everyone is your enemy out there, and I think the traffic management is going to be quite something special when I get in the kart for the first time. And also, can we just take a moment to appreciate the view we have from this kart track? Like, this is one special location. This live timing is amazing, first of all, because it has all the information I really need in one place. So for example, I can see that Nicholas has been in the kart for 2 hours and 12 minutes. Now the maximum he could be allowed in the kart is 70 times 2, so 2 hours and 20 minutes. So he has to pit here in the next 7 minutes or so. Matteo is now gonna get in the kart because the maximum you're allowed is double stinting, so someone's gotta get in the kart. As much as I love to leave Nicholas out there, it's definitely time to hand over the reins to someone else, and that someone else is Matteo. So this will be a lot of the top pro teams all wanting to pit at the same time. One of the reasons why the karts are always getting cycled and you're always kind of gambling with what kart you get into is the other classes, so we're in pro class, but the gold and silver have different maximum stint times. I think it's 60 minutes for gold, 50 minutes for silver, so they're always out of sequence with us, meaning there's constantly karts getting cycled in and out of here. But the pros, at least this early in the race, we're all trying to pit at the same time. We're only a few minutes from being on the maximum stint time here, so he's coming in any second, but I have noticed quite a few of the other pro teams have come in a little bit earlier than the maximum. Like for example, Belamis, who has that penalty to serve, decided to come in early, I think just so they weren't stuck and lost even more time in the whole pro category pit stop chaos. So definitely, we're starting to get some alternate strategies going here.
He's beating now. Yeah.
Nicholas is in the box, gonna hop out of that cart. They're gonna swap now the race numbers, and then Matteo will get into the cart that they put our number 6 race number on. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, he left it to the absolute maximum. Let's see. Oh, 2 minutes, 15 seconds. Exactly on the money. But man, that's cutting it fine. Oh man, I think I might wait an extra second for my one just to be on the safe side.
Now, our resident Frenchman Matteo is behind the wheel. And while he may be doing the heavy lifting on track, the rest of us are starting to put on our race strategy hats.
So we're getting to that stage of the race now where knowing which karts are good and which karts are not so good are crucial, because the more these karts drive, the more tire wear they get, the more people abuse them on curbs, going off in the grass, and karts are going to start splitting. Karts are fairly even now, but they're going to start having a bigger and bigger delta as the race goes on. So this is where a special piece of technology will come into play. This software was graciously provided to us by one of the other teams, and essentially it's tracking the performance of each kart individually and giving us essentially which are the top karts on average. So at the moment, our kart is looking like it's maybe like a top 20-ish kart. So as long as it's above the 50% mark, I think we're okay. Ideally, we're gonna wanna keep an eye on this, and when it comes down to the pit stop window, we're gonna hope that one of these karts is in the pit lane waiting for us. Now this data is gonna get more accurate the farther into the race we go, but importantly, later in the race, we'll have hopefully even more detailed feedback, because this is keeping track of which karts are in which lane inside the pit lane. So hopefully we'll even know exactly what kart we're gonna get swapped into, guaranteeing us a good kart all the way through the race. But yeah, I guess time will tell to see if this will end up being our race-winning secret weapon.
But it's not just the software that will make the difference. We also have our strategist Christian, who will be analyzing the live timing and the kart tracking software throughout the day and throughout the night. So while this may be the most competitive kart race I have ever done, at least I have the team beside me to get the job done. Interestingly, Matteo is doing very similar lap times to Nicholas, but with a completely different driving style. You'll notice that Matteo's steering wheel is relatively straight through the corners. He's doing most of his steering with the brake pedal. If you contrast that to Nicholas's driving style, he is much more aggressive with the steering wheel. It's one of those cases where it comes down to personal preference, but I do wonder, will one style be better than another when the tires get worn later in the race? Matteo's style is my personal preference, and I think it's more realistic to car racing. And if you want to learn how to achieve perfect neutral steer, I actually teach you how to do exactly this in my online education platform, the Karting Handbook. We're running a 50% off promo until the end of the year, so make sure you use the code on screen to cop it. But anyways, both of these guys are karting world champions, so what a privilege it is to be able to drive alongside of them.
So Matteo's been out there for a little over 40 minutes now, and he has maintained the lead. However, the kart in P2 is catching us. Their pace is pretty ridiculous, but Matteo's just started like really switching on and doing pretty fast times. So we're kind of in this 50-50 of whether or not we pit him early, because we know the kart is into the best. And now with the software, we should be in a position where we can keep track of it. So the guys are keeping a really watchful eye on what karts are coming in the pit lane. And because we don't have the second bit of the software that tells us exactly where that kart slots into place yet, I think they're going to try and manually keep track of it and pit us at the optimal window. But that could mean that Lubo's getting in the cart here a little earlier than expected. But we are expecting him to do a double stint, then I'll be in the cart. A little nervous for this one. Matteo, who's out there, has been cooking on lap times. He really stepped up the pace, which is probably just a function of him. This is his first time here, just like me, but he is an SWS World Final champion. And from what I hear, he is really a force to be reckoned with. He is one of the fastest rental kart drivers in the entire world, like quite literally. I'm not exaggerating that. And apparently in the wet, he's sometimes even 8/10 a second clear the entire field. I kind of want to pray for some rain now, knowing that fact, but for now, it's time for him to swap out and for Lubo to get in. He's about 61 minutes minutes into his stint. It's 3:55 p.m., so he is going to have to come in within the next few laps, because if we don't get a good kart, it's really going to mess up our strategy.
Matteo at the moment is dominating. He's basically the fastest man on track at the moment and clearly in a comfortable window, despite having never been to this track before. The true mark of a champion is someone who doesn't make excuses, and I think we're seeing proof of that right now.
I'm on seat duty. I'm going to help Lubo get his extremely heavy seat into the kart, and then he will be off for at least one stint, maybe two. All right, Lubo's in the cart, just waiting to be cleared. Looks like there's a bit of a radio issue. Looks like the comms aren't working, but I think it's a little bit too late now. So he's gonna have to do this on his own. And luckily he's got a device on his phone that will, shit. That was a bit slow. He's doing at least one stint, but double if he's got the energy, and then it's my turn.
I take a long time to go in the good lap times.
Yeah, but you're also learning the track as well. And the cart was not ideal either, I don't think.
That's not the car. That's my seat. I struggled to adapt my seat because I was not comfortable on the seat, and my weight are too much. But at the end of my stint, that was not good. That was correct.
Well, you were one of the fastest karts towards the end of the stint, so I think overall, I had no complaints from my side watching that. So I think you did a great job. Considering you just saw this place for the first time yesterday, I'm quite impressed.
Thank you, but I can improve.
Well, we've got 24 hours, so I'm sure we'll learn a thing or two over that time. But let's see what Lubo can do.
Meanwhile, Lubo was out there getting into his own rhythm on track. Lubo, being a Bulgarian, practically grew up at this racetrack, and he actually got his first ever race win here. He's won extremely high-level races in race karts as well, and now he's making the transition to Formula 4. And I say that all to put in perspective just how competitive this race is. Some of this lap traffic is easy for Lubo to get around, but some other ones, well, you can see it for yourself. While some of the lap traffic just had good enough pace to make it difficult for Lubo to get around, others, like this guy, were just flat out dangerous.
About a little over halfway into his stint. If he decides to single, it means I'm in the cart in about half an hour. At the moment, we've actually dropped down into P2. Iceman Racing team has overtaken us. They're flying, but we also know that they have a monster cart underneath them right now as well. So we're not panicking just yet. We have a healthy margin to the team in P3 at the moment, so that's looking good. But yeah, Lubo's pace has been really strong. We know that the team that had our cart before us, though, were going ever so slightly faster, which could be that just Lubo's a little bit off the pace, but we're talking like a tenth of a second here. Or what's more likely is the temperature. The sun is in full effect now, and even just sitting here in the tent in the shade, I'm sweating. So yeah, track temperatures will definitely be affecting the grip level out there, and I'm going to be inheriting the kart probably in the worst possible condition of the race, at least until the tires are totally cooked by the end of it. But yeah, that's going to be fun. But I'll keep you updated, and let's see where Lubo ends up when it's time for the pit stop. 3.5 hours into this race, and it's time for me to hop in the kart. Lubo's been doing a great job. I think we're still P2-ish, maybe even like 4 or 5 seconds back from the leader, so we're still very much in the fight for the win here. I'm saying that before I've gotten in the kart and not been on the pace, so I do this every video because it's true. Like, this is just genuinely how I'm feeling, but I'm very nervous for my first stint. I know I'll be fine later, but just knowing the competitive level of this field and this being my first time at the track and having teammates like this who are fully capable of winning this race, I just don't want to let the team down. But yeah, I just got to stop moping about it, get in the kart, and drive my ass off for 70 minutes. So I think if I'm real bad, probably pull me out early, but fingers crossed it doesn't come to that.
This is the moment I'd been dreading all weekend. I mean, I'm sure I'll get better throughout the race, but I just don't want to disappoint my teammates.
Keep me updated on pace if I need to push more or not. At a certain point, I'll tell you. If I push any more, I'll make mistakes, but try and keep me updated on that.
Okay. 59.5, it's good.
All right, gotta wait here for about a minute. No one should be coming right behind me from this crew, but I'll be going straight out into heavy traffic. Need to just try and get into a rhythm as quickly as possible. I've had it before where I've gotten into my first stint and it's taken me 15-20 minutes to get in the rhythm, and I can't afford to do that in this race. I'm gonna go at 2 minutes and 9 seconds on the board. That should be safe. God, it is hot out right now. Holy shit. Don't know why I decided to get a black suit for this race.
Good luck.
So I just finished my stint. It was not the best, but not very bad. I was not in the fastest karts. There was the first guy that was just in the fastest kart of the whole grid. And I try my best to be as consistent as possible. And we are currently in P2. Also, I almost got a penalty for underweight. I was 1 gram away. We got lucky and I should eat something, so I gained weight.
Yes, was good. 2 minutes 16.
Target lap times in the 59s. We have no idea if this is a good kart or not, so gonna just have to experiment with it, see what lap times I can produce.
With a decent amount of clear track in front of me, I could at least put my head down somewhat and focus on single lap pace. On Friday practice, I had no problems getting down into the 59s in the standard layout, but for whatever reason right now, I'm struggling to even get into the 1 minute territory.
Need to get into a rhythm quickly. Need to get into the 59s to be at a comfortable pace.
And to make matters worse, I'm struggling just on my own, and now that I have to deal with traffic, it certainly isn't going to help the problem.
You're 1 minute 0.1.
As much as my ego says to not let anybody around because we're racing here, at the same time I need to acknowledge that I need to just follow other karts and work on my pace lap by lap.
Just gonna try and link up with this kart and get into a rhythm now in the 58s. But I think a bit more. I need to really be in the mid to low 59s, realistically, be on the pace.
Do you need to change? Yeah, you're under the minute now. Yeah, this lap was very, very good. So let's find another 10. Come on.
Copy.
And let's find some consistency. That's a very good first sector. Very, very good. Yeah, that's the second sector you need to improve. The first and the last sector are pretty good.
Okay, copy. I'll try and work on the second sector. That corner is my biggest issue for sure. Turn 3. Oh, a bit of dirt. Oops.
I'm finding that in this standard layout, it's the last sector of this track that I'm struggling with the most, which is ironic because in the other direction, it's actually my favorite section of track. Even though my ultimate pace isn't horrible at the moment, it's the consistency causing the biggest problems, and I think where I'm making the most consistent mistakes is in this last sector.
Yeah, that's a good lap, mate. That's a good lap. The second sector is much better. Now let's improve the last.
Got it.
But even though I'm improving, karts are coming up on me way faster than I'd like to admit.
Here's Cal. He's definitely one of our main competitors in this, so if my pace can stay with him, then I think I'm in good shape, but I don't think I will be able to hold with him. Do my best. God, they're so fast. Holy, that was my best time though. 59.6. Definitely learned a thing or two following him.
Let's try to follow Guillaume in his racing lines.
But I guess before I could cause any more damage, the team called me back into the pits.
Just got out of the kart for my first stint. Mixed feelings from my side. I felt very inconsistent overall. I think my pace was much better towards the end once I feeling more comfortable. And I think maybe even the fuel load dropping made the kart feel quite a bit better. But I don't know, was it a complete shit show from your side?
Yes. It was okay. I think it was your first stint today, and I don't know, the kart was not the best. I think it was so in the middle, and we lose a little bit time, but every team have one kart or one stint. You are not so fast. Yeah. I think it was okay.
I'll take okay from a German. I feel like that's good in any other language. So yeah, I mean, I know I have work to do, but I'll get more comfortable, I think, through the race. I'm just glad the first one's out of the way. Yeah, I'm gonna analyze now, see what I can do better, and we'll go from there. Well, Matteo hopefully gets back to P1. A couple of things to learn from that stint from my side. Well, one, just inconsistency. I knew that was gonna be a problem in the first 20 minutes, but I didn't think it was gonna be a problem quite so much for the entire stint. It just feels weird going from the last 24 hours I did on the channel. May or may not be uploaded by this point, but the Buckmore 24, for example, I was by far the most consistent out of my team. I didn't have the fastest pace, but I was the most consistent even through traffic. To go from that to now the most inconsistent on the team and the slowest, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. But I mean, up against these guys, I guess it's to be expected. I've just gotta learn something every stint and I'll be fine. But we've got Matteo in the kart, thankfully, and he is currently P5. He's in. Oh, what? Was not expecting that.
When Matteo had taken over, he immediately identified the kart underneath of him was just not going to cut it, so he came back in and got this kart, which he was quite happy about. But what he is not happy about is some of the driving standards out there right now. With bumper-to-bumper contact like this, I don't know if these karts are going to make it another 18 hours. But I guess all that battling made Matteo feel like the kart was a bit down on power, so he came in for a third kart, which I'm not even sure is completely legal. Now, it's a little tough to hear, but I don't think Matteo likes this kart either. Yikes.
So it's only been a couple minutes since that last clip when Matteo was coming in the pits for a kart swap. He was convinced the engine was bad. We didn't think it was too bad, but we were losing about half a second to the fastest karts on track right now. But he's already talking about he wants to come in straight away, basically on the 10-minute mark. And Nicholas would get in the kart if that's the case. He basically got in this new kart exactly the same pace, still half a second off. So he's probably not half a second off. It's most probably the kart. But you may be thinking like, oh, surely it's not worth it to come in and just waste another pit stop. Well, there are 30 mandatory pit stops for this race, which means that there are more pit stops than there are stints in the race if you were to maximize stint time for the pro class. So that means if we didn't use up all of our pit stops by the end of the race, we might just have to 10 minutes pit, 10 minutes pit, 10 minutes pit. So we can utilize those extra pit stops to swap for better karts if we're really in a tough situation. So I think they're not going to risk it driving a whole stint with a bad kart. So they're thinking about putting Nicholas in now.
With Nicholas back in the kart, we were fully expecting him to be producing purple lap times out there, assuming, of course, he had a good kart underneath of him. But within just a few corners, Nicholas was on the radio telling us that this kart just wasn't up to scratch. We were inclined not to believe him because he was flying through the traffic like they were standing still. That is until one particular team caught up to us.
So what do we think about the kart he just got into?
I think it's not the best.
Your prayers were not answered.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we thinking we'll see how it is for the next 10 minutes and maybe he comes back in?
Yeah, maybe he comes back in and then he will make another stint and then I am driving and we hope we get a fast kart.
So the plan was for him to double stint, regardless, but we were hoping 2 70 minutes, but right now it could be a 10-minute and a 70-minute, basically.
But we will see. Not a good driver drove the kart, so maybe it can be good. I hope so.
I think he's quite quick in any kart, at least so far, so he should be able to be okay. But what's the threshold? If he is certain, how much lap time does he need to be off the fastest times to justify the pit stop?
He should be the fastest if we want something.
Okay, fair enough. All right, we're looking for P1 purple lap times right now. Let's see what Nicholas can do.
Despite Nicholas's feelings about the kart, he was putting in lap times that was up there with just about anybody else. Nicholas might be right, we might be down on engine power right now, but in corners, Nicholas is absolutely on the gearbox of Bellamers. So now begs the question, do they work together, or do we make an overtake and try and pull a gap? But that's going to be much easier said than done if the engine really is down on power. Either way, we know by the end of this race, we'll be fighting directly with them for the win, so what we certainly can't afford to do is lose sight of them.
58.9. Kart's okay. I think we can, he'll do a full stint.
Unfortunately, though, over the next hour or so, Nicholas was still battling with the Bellamers very hard, but then just a couple of annoying lap traffic karts got in between them, and we started to lose sight. But if there's any saving grace, the sun is beginning to set, and certainly the night portion of this race is when people will be making the most mistakes, and hopefully we can capitalize on that. So to prevent myself from being one of those people, I think I need a little bit of shut-eye.
Change of scenery. We're now back at the hotel because I think B and I are going to get a couple hours of rest. It's 8:58 p.m. and we'll probably head back to the track. We'll try and be there for 11:15 p.m. because then I'll get in the kart right at the critical moment of the race, which is the direction change, where if we time it right, we do the pit stop just perfectly, we have the opportunity to gain massive amounts of time and have some pretty crazy battles through the traffic. So I'm excited for that, but for now, I'm going to get some rest. We're currently P6, but about 4 laps down. Very, very fast teams behind us right now, so it tells us we're probably not doing too bad. Hopefully I'm flying. Really, really hope I'll be flying. See you guys just before I head back in the kart. We're trying to come up with our strategy around the direction change when the track swaps directions at 12:30 a.m. tonight. This is pretty crucial because we can make up a lot of time through some strategy, which I'll explain later, and of course through traffic management. But we're ideally going to have me in the kart during that direction change because, well, it'll be entertaining for you guys more than anything, but it's a little complicated around getting a good kart and whether or not we come straight back in the pits. And so one of the crucial things is the pit lane is going to be closed, we think, 10 minutes before the big switcheroo happens, which would make things quite complicated because Lubo right now needs to pit at 12:15 a.m. I would have to get in the kart. I'd be out at 12:19 a.m., let's say, and then pit lane closed. So it sounds perfect. The problem is if I go out and the kart is shit, we can't then swap the kart because we'll be in that window of time where we're not allowed to change. So it could totally ruin the whole strategy, and we're trying to figure out a way around this, but it's not simple. It's not simple. We're trying to check the rules just to make sure we're getting this all right.
Over the last 90 minutes or so, Lubo has been pushing through the graveyard shifts, doing a double stint. But unfortunately, his body was really starting to feel it, and he was practically begging us over the radio to pit him early for a driver swap. But we, on the other hand, couldn't fulfill that request because Christian had managed to get him into one of the monster karts out on track, and Lubo was doing some incredible lap times.
I should be hopping in the kart, but we need to talk about a bit of strategy, but we'll get to that in a minute. At the moment, Lubo is in the kart and absolutely flying. He actually just did the fastest first sector of the race, I believe. We have a monster kart for the first time this entire race, so kudos to Christian for getting us in that kart. Apparently, it was only a 33% chance
of getting a good kart, and we did. So Lubo's lap times right now are in the mid 58, so absolutely flying. However, quite a lot of people are also in the mid 58s, even one driver in the 58.2s, the current race leader, Iceman Racing. So yeah, lap times have come down a lot because of the air temperature. Karts are definitely preferring this, so I'm looking forward to driving the kart in cool conditions. This is probably much more what I'm used to from a lot of the British races I've done recently. So yeah, I think Lubo's doing his job, but we need to talk strategy because this is the most critical point of the race coming up. This is when the switcheroo direction change happens, and there's a lot of time we could gain or lose around this. I'd say realistically, I think we're within a lap of the lead.
Lubo, being the trooper that he is, continued to push until the end of his maximum stint time, and then it was my turn to take over. Okay, moment of truth, the big moment in this race. And honestly, if we're being most strategic possible, I wouldn't be doing this stint, someone else would be. But you know what? We want to make the video entertaining for you guys, so props to the rest of the team for being down for that. But yes, this still is critical on my side. I'm going to be driving in the normal direction for at least a few minutes, and we need that time critically to determine if this kart needs to be swapped. If the kart looks and I can't tell, I need you to wave and box me in or use the radio, but you know the radio is kind of difficult to understand, so
So it was probably the best stint we've done this race. I catched a lot the guys in front of me. I was with a really fast kart, and every single lap I was fastest on the track, so I think it was a pretty good one. And now I have a big chance for the podium.
oh, the lights are trippy, holy sh**. They're kind of a weird refresh rate. The track has a lot of grip now from when I last drove, so I need to just immediately push and maximize the grip. I know a lot of times you're now in the low 58s, so as long as this kart is up for it, I gotta try and do my best to replicate that. Brakes are pretty snaggy on this kart. I won't know my lap times because we don't have the dashboard on. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Maybe I'll just be a bit more focused. Definitely need to be a bit more aggressive in the traffic as well. It's one of the big takeaways from my first stint. So far, really liking the balance of this car. It's very pointy in the front end, which means I have more options to settle that oversteer. Either by getting on power early, reducing the steering lock, there's all sorts of stuff I teach in the Karting Handbook actually, which we're running a 50% off promo on up until the end of the year, so make sure you cop that. Loads of Karting Handbook students in this race. I've gotten the chance to meet loads of you guys, and I'm so glad you guys have been improving your lap times and you're able to compete at this high of a level.
Cameron space is very good for one lap, and it just have to gain more in consistency, especially on the traffic management. I think it will be good.
He did work on reducing that hopping. That's the lap time killer. Any minute now, the whole track is going to go to full course caution. We'll have a safety cart rather, and then we'll be reversing directions and restarting, which is going to be absolutely chaotic. Everyone keeps telling me how insane it is. I need to figure out this hopping situation.
For whatever reason, my teammates weren't dealing with this same hopping issue. Now typically, if your kart just starts violently hopping while turning, that's usually down to you carrying way too much speed. Unlike race cars, karts have 3 different ways to indicate that you're driving too hard into a corner. You've got your typical understeer and oversteer, but you also have this kart hopping phenomenon. It's typically a clear indication that you've carried too much speed into a corner, but I can gauge my distance to the karts in front of me, and I don't really think I'm carrying way too much speed. So my theory as to why I'm struggling with it comes down to weight. Every driver must meet a minimum of 85 kilograms for this series, so if you're under that, you end up putting these lead blocks into the side of your kart. These weights being on the left side act as a counterweight to the engine, which is on the right side, but depending on how heavy your body is determines how much lead weight you have on the left side. And I think my specific body weight is for whatever reason making it easier for my kart to hop, or at least that's my excuse. Either way, there's nothing I can change but my driving, so I need to get my head down and focused.
I think this kart is decent. It's hard to evaluate motor or anything, so I'm not going to pit. But I have no idea what my lap times are. I don't know if anyone can hear me on the comms, so unless someone waves at me, I'm just gonna keep pounding around, working on it lap by lap.
We've got 20 minutes until the direction change where I know I will be stronger, so I just need to minimize the damage.
No one's overtaken me yet, which I feel like is a decent sign. Might be making some overtakes ourselves here. Oh, we need to figure out this hopping situation in this corner. It's absolutely killing me. Clearly carrying too much speed in. You guys see a Bulgarian flag on the driver in front of me. If I can keep up with him, I think I'm doing all right, because pretty much all the Bulgarian drivers I've come across have been pretty quick. I don't think there's any slow ones here, and they all know the track pretty well, so let's see what we can do. I'm going to try and lock in on this guy. Oh, caught him big time there. Okay, I think trailing brake is the answer to the hopping problem. Thank you. Not making that more difficult than it needed to be. No idea if that guy's fast, but if he's Bulgarian, can't be doing that bad. Ah, touching that curb was so unnecessary. I see a shadow behind me. Ooh, he almost lunged for it. Get out. Elbows out. That poor live traffic just got absolutely at turn 3. Still the bane of my existence, but at least I'm good at it in the other direction. Just need to minimize the damage here. Okay, so I'm not the fastest on track. So at least see if we can keep up. No idea who everybody is, to be honest. I might know their faces, but I don't always know their suits and helmets. Giga hop. My bad. Oh, that might be safety car. I think a yellow just... Oh, that's the safety car, and he's about to come out. The swap's about to happen. Okay, well, I think I just got there. I think we wanted to be the last cart in front of the pace car, and instead we're the first.
The reason I wanted to be the first cart in front of the safety cart is because I would be able to get half a lap back, catching up to the back of the field. This is not ideal.
I'm not sure what that means. Does that mean we're the race leader? I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm just gonna drive. But instead, I was hoping to start last and then really go through the field. Instead, I think I'm just gonna get trained here. Oh boy. This might not be ideal. We'll do what we can. Whole different track from this point onwards. This is so cool. I don't know how we go green, to be honest. Oh, there go the fireworks. Wow. That's amazing. Fireworks in the middle of a 24-hour car race. Maybe sometimes you get them at the end, but in the 24 hours of Bulgaria, you gotta get it halfway through too. Whoa. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, I guess we're gonna go backwards now. Oh, this is cool. Wow, the end of this field is so long. Jesus. Okay, now we're running backwards, assuming we're going green this lap. Still mega confused about how this all works. But it's gonna be fun regardless. I bet the view behind me looks pretty cool, but honestly I don't really want to look. 53 carts behind me. Oh yeah, I forgot, we're already in a different layout. Jeez. Okay. Okay, safety cart light out. So I guess we're going green this lap. I'm gonna pace the field here. I'm gonna go as late as possible because I don't want anyone to benefit from slipstream. Here we go, green. I try and hold everyone back as much as I can. Send it. I'm sure someone's going to send me any moment now. I'm not going to go defensive because that would be kind of pointless, I think. Ooh, slippery. It's like a sprint race all over again. It's more slippery than I was expecting. Might just be the tires being cold again. I think this guy's gonna probably go for it here. I am the cork in the bottle.
But as soon as one got by, I think the rest of them are seeing blood in the water.
Oh, I ain't gonna give up a position for no reason. Okay, that's the team we're fighting with. I know he's fast, so I try and stick with him. Kart engine felt strong there on the last straight. I think we got a bit of a streamer here, at least in a straight line. Chassis, who knows? Sure they would have pitted me if they knew this was a bad car earlier. Okay, here comes the rest of the field. Pace feels alright so far. But man, the brakes are snaggy on this car. Easy to make a big mistake. You gotta be careful not to let one around. You let one around, you let 2 or 3 around. The field's just bunched up.
This is the worst feeling a driver can have. Here I am, supposed to be in the direction that I'm the fastest in and getting overtaken left, right, and center. The radio isn't working, so I have no idea what the team is thinking right now.
I need to be in damage control here. I just don't want to lose too much time in the traffic. I think my pace is okay. Come on, I just need to stop worrying about the people behind me. I know I have the pace to at least not lose positions like clockwork. I'm just constantly in a state of thinking of who's behind me. When are they going to send a move? Oh, that was my bad. Oh, that was really stupid. I knew that curve was going to come and haunt me. Oh, this is bad. This is real bad. Oh, but in the cart there. Oh, that sounded like, that didn't feel like a good hop. I wasn't struggling with that before, but maybe it was just the exit. Okay, I'm getting more of a rhythm now that I'm not under so much pressure, but I had to let so many carts by for that to happen. Not really happy with my performance so far in this race. I think now the tires are coming back in the temperature window, and that's why I'm getting more hopping in the rear. The rears are just a bit over gripped. It's not really understeer per se, it's just real hop. I'm getting the high speed now. If I send a bit too much speed in, could also be damage related. I've lost my confidence now with this hopping situation. I just don't feel like I can really send the speed in anymore. It was a bit optimistic for me. I think that's our pole sitter behind me actually. So if I'm keeping them behind, I know they're a top team. I can't be that bad in pace, okay? I'm definitely faster than this car in front of me, but I just need a good window to overtake. That's not going to just make me susceptible.
But even though I was pretty sure I was doing okay, I was still getting passed by people relatively easily. And a lot of that came to just not being able to manage the wheel hopping. But then when drivers started overtaking me that I had issues with earlier in the race, some kind of switch flipped on inside of me.
I'm not letting this guy around.
But thankfully for me, this added aggression and pace didn't just disappear. There was something about being sandwiched between a couple of the fastest go-karting teams in Europe that really lit a fire under my ass.
Okay, that was nicely managed the traffic actually. Worked out well. Needed to get around that guy that had the pace on him. Oh, yeah. Nearly put me in the grass. I'll sit behind the pole sitter here. Looks like we've been nose to tail for a while, so they aren't lying to me about the pace. Or maybe they are, I don't know. We'll find out when we box, but should be boxing here in the next 5-7 minutes, I think.
And for the first time this weekend, I'm really starting to feel it physically. The steering weight of these karts is no joke.
Oh, my hands are killing me now. Oh, my hands are fucked. Boxing this lap, boxing this lap.
Okay, physically that stint was not as difficult as before with the cooler temperatures, but God, the traffic management and starting first for the restart was not on my bingo cards for this race. I thought we were gonna ideally start last and then kind of work my way through the field, but that didn't happen. Instead, I was just getting freight train, and just trying to minimize the damage, really. So I'm gonna have a better look at the pace to see how far off I was or wasn't. The pit stop were P5. I think I came in P3, I believe. So not too bad, still in the running. But honestly, what was really affecting the consistency towards the end of my stint was this. Both my hands were in immense pain, like it's super stiff. The physicality on the wrist here is crazy. I think this isn't gonna look so pretty. Oh, yeah. It's not as bad as I thought, actually. It'll look rougher later, but yeah, all the skin's gone, blistering all around. Yeah, to be honest, I've had much worse than that, but it really freaking hurt in the kart, and I had a major off in turn 1. I think I might have damaged the kart a little bit when I did that, and it was a little bit harder to drive after that, but it's just a stupid mistake. I made it in practice and said, oh, I won't make that mistake twice. Sure enough, I did, so is what it is, but I just turned the kart into a lawnmower for a little bit there, but is what it is. I'm gonna go investigate the lap times, and let's see how far off I really was. So single lap pace was okay then?
Perfect.
Okay.
59.6.7, very good.
And what's P1 lap times now?
59.6.7.
Really? So on.
We're on point. On point with the top guys, yes.
But traffic was slow and consistency, yeah.
Sometimes, yes. But overall, very good. Very good.
Okay. Honestly, maybe it's just not having the dashboard and not knowing what lap times I was doing. Maybe that was why I was driving faster. But the last thing I was expecting was to come in the pits and have a lap time equivalent to the race leaders. It didn't feel like that when you're getting overtaken. But I think once I was behind a car and we were locked in and I wasn't worrying about someone behind, I was pretty much staying with them. It was just only when a car overtook me, I was just kind of like lost a bit every time someone overtook me. So clearly traffic management needs some work, which it's a shame because normally that's my strong suit in every endurance race I've done. But yeah, apparently not this weekend. So more to work on. In the meantime, let's see how Nicholas is doing.
Unfortunately, Nicholas was out there in a kart he knew wasn't up to scratch. I mean, we're talking about maybe a tenth or two of a second, but that really adds up over the course of long stints. Couple that with the fact that the traffic is getting super aggressive out there and potentially losing us even more time, Nicholas wasn't really feeling like he wanted to stay out in this kart for much longer. But wanting to maximize the pit entry time, he went in maybe a little bit too hot.
If you enter the box one more time like that, you're going to get a penalty, okay? Okay. You're in the blue column.
So now with our one and only warning spent for this race, we are expecting Nicholas to now take things easy, but I think he only has one mode, and that's full attack. And then when he was in clean air, he was putting down monster lap times. In this reverse direction, the lap times are a little bit slower for whatever reason, so doing mid to low 59s here is ridiculous. He's one of the top 3 fastest cars on track right now. But what's even more impressive is he's still getting faster, now down in the 58s while going through traffic. This is ridiculous. While his pace might be top tier, that doesn't mean his stint was completely drama-free. Perhaps it has something to do with it being 2:45 in the morning, but the elbows are really coming out at this point, and just in time for my next stint this race.
It's currently 2:45 a.m. and I'm back in the kart. Nicholas did 1 stint, well technically 2 because he came in and changed his kart. But yeah, I'm gonna be hopping back in the kart so that Lubo can rest, and then hopefully I'll get some rest after that. But yeah, I mean so far Nicholas's pace in the kart has been
insane. Fast times right now are 59.8, so it looks like it's gone a little bit slower than when I was in the kart. But he is doing 59.2s, like faster than literally anyone else on the field by a mile. So he managed to come in and swap for a really good kart, and then on top of that, he's a weapon as well. So couldn't really ask for a better stint from Nicholas. Now, the biggest thing I was struggling with other than traffic was my hand. So I've put some medical tape around my hand, put some wound spray in there. Hope doesn't get infected or anything, but I've had worse. It's quite painful when you have to grip the wheel as hard as you do on this track. And then on top of that, like my knuckle, everything just hurts in both my hands just from gripping. I think I probably need to get some grippier gloves. These are not karting gloves, these are car gloves, but yeah, my mistake, I guess. I know better for next time, but just got to suffer through this one, I think. Right now, the podium is very much in play. Winning the race, we're going to need a little bit more luck, but we're still within a lap and a half of the leader, so still very, very close. It's all to play for. So I need to put in a solid stint here. We'll see what we can do from there.
It's not so good, the first kart, and then we come in the pit. We don't know what is in the pit, but for karts. And I drive out from the pit, and I'm sure the engine is much better. Then I drive 58.8. Team boss says a half second faster than all other people's. It was really nice, and the traffic was a lot. For 54 teams, I think the traffic is okay. But when you have a so fast kart, then you must overtake a lot of people. But with this engine, it's not so important to overtake. We hope we can drive those stints again, then we can fight for the win.
Okay, I think I was following this guy in my last stint. Oh, got very cold tires. And the air temperature's come down a lot in the last hour. I mean, I was literally shivering before I got in the car, so kart behavior is going to change a lot. It's definitely going to take longer to get tire temperature in than before. There's some old racing guys up there in the neon yellow. We were working together a little bit the previous stint, so I'm going to see if I can try and catch up to him as well. They must have just come out of the pit. Whoa, you know. Big mistake there. It gave us a perfect opportunity to get around without having to force something. Not really convinced this is going to be a good kart or not. I think the chassis is good. I'm not sure about the engine. It's cutting out a little bit on the straights, which some of these karts do. I think the motor might be in this kart. They're pulling like crazy. If anyone copies on the radio, I don't think the motor is good on this kart. I might need to box for a new one. Ooh. You know, what is this guy doing? Alright, it's 10 minutes in, so I'm clear to do a pit stop. I'm boxing for a new kart. Boxing. Okay, hopefully this kart is a little bit better. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, this one's very understeery. The right-hander so far, but hopefully it's just a temperature issue. Oh, I'm not so confident this motor is good either yet. This guy's getting shit exits and still pulling away from me, so this might not be ideal. There we go, double overtake, I'll take it. I don't think he likes his kart either. Dipped into the 59s, so I think high 59s were competitive times when I got into the kart. Not the fastest, like Nicholas, but I think we're in a good window. We just need to stay consistent and be good through traffic. Medical tape is working a treat right now. Not too much pain. Oh, still quite a bit, but manageable. Whoa. What the f was that guy doing? Holy sh**. Bro just teleported to the shadow realm. Oh, wow, he really did. He just teleported himself into the wall. Holy sh**. What happened to that guy? Just chipping it away, and I'm feeling like I'm in a really good rhythm now with this kart. I'm doing basically in clean air at the same lap time every lap, more or less. I might have just done my best there. Still got a long way to go in this stint.
But then seemingly in the blink of an eye, my middle of the night stint was complete. Yeah, so I mean, with Belamis there going about a second a lap, almost a second a lap faster, 9/10 a lap faster than me in that monster car, it sounds like they just pulled it, which is one of the cool things about this championship and the way that they do these kart swaps is they keep an eye on which karts are like too strong and they just pull them. They try and even them out as well during the races, so super, super cool to see. But yeah, unfortunately, we weren't the ones who benefited from that, so it is what it is. I'm gonna have a deep dive into the lap times, but I'm pretty sure I was doing a half decent job there actually. Felt super consistent now, especially in clean air, just like same lap time, same lap time, same lap time, within a tenth and a half. If you had told me that 6 hours ago, I wouldn't have believed you, but quite happy with that. And also much better than the traffic as well. So just improving bit by bit. And I'm sure that's not my last stint of this race either, so stay tuned.
Okay, about to hop in for the sunrise stint. I've risked it and gone tinted visor because I just hate when it's too bright out. Looks like we're P3 on track. We've done 18 pit stops, which seems to be about the average, but there are a couple of teams behind us, actually several pro teams behind us that have done 20, even 21 pit stops. So yeah, it looks like we're on the podium right now, but really it's going to be much harder than it currently looks. But need to put in a solid early morning stint here on 1 hour of sleep. It is about 5:30 a.m. I think. It's like fast times are low 59s, but I'll be happy with high 59s. He's finished. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
At this point, poor Lubo had been in the kart for over 2 hours on 0 sleep. So safe to say he was ready for me to take back over.
So, double stint? I'm tired, but you know, I have to do a last double stint.
Looks like Lubo's on his last legs. He's almost 2 hours in the kart now, and he's cooked. Absolutely cooked. I don't blame him. This place is freaking physical. Yeah, everyone's got blisters.
You know Duolingo? You don't know Duolingo?
Conversations you have at 6 a.m. in a 24-hour race. Apparently there's 2 good karts there in the front, so if he comes in right now, we might just get a good kart here. Here he is. I think this is one of the ones we wanted, so yeah, definitely a little dark on the tint for the moment, but should be okay. 3, 2, 1, 8. Been temping the tires here. It's still pretty much just as cold as it was last night. I don't think it's warmed up at all. Hopefully my engine isn't shit, because this guy's bumping me quite a bit. Oh, there's a tire in the middle of the road now? Interesting. Yeah, I think our motor is pretty If anyone copies, should I pit for a new kart or stick with this one?
It was complete and utter radio silence, so I had to make the executive decision to swap to a new kart. We still have some swaps to burn anyway to hit that mandatory 30 pit stops by the end of the race, so we may as well kill 2 birds with 1 stone. However, it would be nice if I knew there was a good kart waiting for me in the pits.
I don't think you're supposed to be driving that direction, mate. Okay, but okay. You guys copy on the radio? I'm gonna box for a new kart.
I hope this kart's better than the last. I don't think the steering wheel is very straight, so that's not a great sign. Wheels pointed straight there. Steering wheel's off quite a bit. Oof, might not be in the car that long here.
Tires are ice cold. The rear's got nothing. Holy sh**. This thing is oversteer as hell so far. The rear's up to 0 grip. I really hope this is just a temperature problem. But normally it doesn't take this long to get temp in the rears.
I'm really struggling to determine why this kart is feeling so off. It could be that the tires are just taking way longer to get up to temp with this cool early morning ambient temperature, but either way, I just need to make this kart work for the rest of the stint.
Oh man, this one might be worse than the last one. It's the first time I've had a kart with this kind of balance at that stage of the race where they all start to have their own characteristics and the abuse. Yeah, it wasn't a half. Bad lap time, actually. The car can do it, I just need to get used to it, I think. That's Red Racing in front. We'll definitely be fighting for the podium with them. See if I can keep on his gearbox. Oh, I should have sent that guy. .59.7s. I don't think we're too off the pace right now. I'm just pacing myself, trying to catch up to this group ahead. I think I have a very similar pace to them, maybe even slightly better. Just did a better job in the traffic earlier. Just want to catch back up to them, use them as a target. And elbows out with the traffic here. I know he's quick, so I'll work with him. Why? Why? Ah, a bit too aggressive. Well, at least he apologized for it and gave the position back. Appreciate that. But, I mean, come on. Just lost a bunch of time because of that bullshit. The hop's really starting to settle in. I should just let him around. We'll both lose time if we fight. Sorry, you gotta make the move stick. We're both losing time because of this, like a lot. Fucking Christ, that was close. No grip there offline.
There's something truly majestic about a sunrise stint. My mind and my body are literally running on fumes at this point, but somehow I'm doing the best driving I've done all race. I'm not even really thinking about the driving, it's purely subconscious at this point, and my consistency is miles better than at the beginning of this race. I might be getting overtaken by teams we're racing against here and there, but far, far less frequently. And I'm catching up to karts that were faster than me earlier in this race.
Bit of traffic up ahead, see how quickly we can get through them. Help this guy through, but I didn't get the benefit. Trying to work together here, or maybe not, I don't know. That screwed me. This driver ahead in the SWS suit is starting to leave me a little bit. I'm losing some pace, I need to get back into it.
Then I noticed a red suit out in the distance. That's the suit of one of the red racing drivers I know we're fighting with for the podium.
Well, there's some disagreements going on up there. I think same person I had a disagreement with, actually.
That driver in the red suit is the same one I had issues with earlier in this race, so I know if I get alongside of him, it's gonna get bloody.
Oops, that was a bit cheeky. My bad, yo. These guys are getting elbows out. I know this guy in the red suit is certainly in the running for the podium, so ideally want to get around him. Okay, he wants to push me into the grass after putting his hand out like he's going to let me by. Might just have to with this guy. He with me earlier in the race, so getting what's coming to him.
I think at this point in the race, my brain cells have completely depleted and I'm not really thinking rationally anymore.
Or I'm just gonna send him. Yeah, dude. 35 minutes now into the stint. Kart is very oversteering still. I'm just managing it. It's hard to be consistent, to be honest, but at least compared to the kart I had in the night stints. Big hop. Gotta be so precise with these karts. Am I going defensive, or what was that line? Okay. getting spicy. Probably only gonna get spicier the closer we get to the end of the race. Everyone's out for blood now. Going right on my ass. Okay, copy, boxing is locked.
And just like that, my fourth stint of this race was complete.
Good job.
Was okay?
Yes, and we now have good machine as well.
Okay, good.
Oof.
Good.
Oh, sorry.
It's alright. Oh, good to hear.
Good morning. It's now 10:36 a.m. I went back for a shower and an hour-long sleep. I'm on 2 hours of sleep now, which is, I guess, better than nothing. But honestly, I felt much worse when I woke up than before I went to sleep. Nonetheless, we keep pushing. We're currently P3 on track with an hour and 53 minutes to go in this race. However, we are 4 laps down from the race leaders, which is the Belamas crew, and we're actually now on sync with them in terms of pit stops, 24 pit stops. We still need to do 6 more pit stops in the next hour and 52 minutes because we were saving those pit stops in case we got bad karts, and now we've got a bunch stacked up here at the end. Luckily, it's the same case for a lot of the other teams, but like the number 27 kart, which is Iceman Racing Squad, they've already done 27 pit stops. So that's effectively saved them more than 6.5 minutes or of race time compared to us. So they will likely pip us, or one of the other teams back there might also pip us as well. So yeah, we're looking like right now we're probably effectively a P5 or P6 across the finish line. I mean, we can still put in work and we can do better than that, but it's going to be a sprint race to the finish to make it happen. So as we mentioned before, the minimum amount of time each driver, at least when you're doing a 4-man team, is 4 hours and 30 minutes across the race. Now, Lubo and I are the only 2 drivers who have not met that yet. I think we're both really close. Like, I needed like 14 minutes. Lubo, I think, needs like 10 or 11, 12 minutes, something like that. So I think the plan for me, at least, is just to do 15 or 20 minutes right at the end, take the checker flag, and Lubo will hop in whenever there's a convenient time to do so. And by the way, if you're thinking about doing this race, highly recommend it. This is the most competitive 24-hour kart race I've done yet. I think the video speaks for itself. Driving standards are crazy high. The series isn't like penalizing you every 5 seconds for little random reasons. The way that the rules are set up are really designed for a performance-based win and nothing else. You're swapping cars, so thinking about car issues. Even if your car breaks down on track, they will give you the time back in your next pit stop. It's like, it just makes sense. So I can't praise Karting Events Bulgaria enough for how they've organized this event. Like, even just having the creature comforts of, they provide the tent, electricity, lighting, waters, like all that stuff is just included in the race price, which is, there's another topic. The price, it's like half as much as a lot of the other 24 hours I've done. So the value for money is crazy. However, I will give one caveat. If this is your first time and you've never done something like this and you've never driven at this level, probably wouldn't recommend this race to you. Probably should get some experience, maybe in one of their shorter races first before you do this, because this is the real deal. This is absolutely the real deal. And I know a lot of you guys try and follow me around and do races I did in videos previously, like the 24-hour I did last year. And yeah, some of you guys just ain't ready for this yet. But if you get the Karting Handbook, maybe you just will be.
Nicholas was out there doing another double stint. Honestly, I don't know how he's still doing it because he and Christian are the only members of the team who have not slept yet up to this point. The track temperatures have come up significantly now that the sun has been out for a few hours, and the lap times are getting slower, but he's still doing mid to low 59s, which very few people on track are doing at the moment. Even when he came into the pits to swap to another kart, he was still on the money in the second kart. Now, as you saw yesterday in qualifying, all of these karts were very much on an even playing field, and the field was very tight. But at this point in a 24-hour race, with all the abuse these karts go through, and the tires especially, these karts could be completely different from kart to kart. But Nicholas doesn't seem to care. He's overtaking the pole sitter right now. It's one thing to be fast when the conditions are ideal, but it's another thing to be fast in literally any kart you are given, and that's been the case for pretty much all of my teammates thus far. So it was certainly a very solid double stint from Nicholas yet again.
Nicholas, you just did another full double stint, didn't you? How was that?
Yes, a little bit physical. It was okay. When you drive, after 10-20 minutes, you think, oh, when is the end? But after 30 minutes, you drive only. You don't
think about it anymore. Just like you're just in the zone.
You are in your zone, yes, and then you look only, oh, can I drive a little bit faster? I think the last 2 hours are good for us. We're fighting for P4.
You think P4 is realistic now?
Yes. we hope the best.
Okay, well, we are currently P4 on track after that last pit stop. So we're on 26 pit stops. The only downside is Iceman in front of us is on 27. They're the only ones who are really ahead on pit stops. But then Belamas and P2 as well, they're both on the same number of pit stops as us, 26. So it's all to play for, but podium is going to be difficult, I think.
Yes, I think.
It's all coming down to the wire now. We are still very much in the mix for the podium, but it's tough to know exactly where we are because some teams are very close to hitting their minimum 30 pit stop count, while others are still maybe on their 24th or 25th pit stop. We, on the other hand, are somewhere in the middle, but we gotta hope that our pace is strong enough to keep us at the top by the end of this race.
Now you should drive like it's the World Championship, like it's your last ever racing karting.
Okay. All right. Quali mode.
Yes.
Let's do it. So slight change of plans, where it turns out we're kind of at risk of losing P4. Red Racing, who we've been fighting with all race, is just behind us. They actually have done more pit stops than us, so we're at risk of them jumping us. So to not have any risk, we decided that we're gonna have Lubo finish the race instead of me. So I'm gonna go and get my 15 minutes in now, and yeah, and then Lubo should take it home, but he might have to literally battle wheel to wheel to the finish line to secure P4. So it's gonna be a tight fight. Copy. Hope this is gonna be a good kart. This is quali mode for 15 minutes.
I could just about see that red suit flying around up ahead of me, so there was my target. My lap times are looking very solid because I'm doing basically the same lap times I was doing in the nights, but the conditions are actually worse right now. So if I'm able to keep up this pace, I might just have a shot of getting us a bit closer to the podium.
Oh, get out. I believe this is the team currently in P2 in front of me. So I can hold with him. The pace is manageable, but really they're not the ones we're concerned about at the moment. It's the Red Racing team I was fighting lots with in the previous stints. I think that might be them up there. Perfect timing, thank you. Been out 20 minutes. Aren't I supposed to box now or no? What the f? Oh, copy box, copy box. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good job.
Good job, man. Good job. All good?
Yeah, all good. Now it's in Lubo's hands. He goes to the end now or no?
Goes to the end. It was the last, this is the last pit stop.
Okay.
All right, that was my last stint in this race. I was trying to do quali lap, but I had Nicholas's lap times on the dashboard. He had a 59.0 and apparently a monster car, and it wasn't necessarily engine, it was just grip. He could do turn one flat. So I was using that as a reference of being like, what the hell? Like, no way in hell am I gonna replicate this. And it's good to know it's not just me, actually. It was the kart a little bit as well. But yeah, Lubo's out there and he's gonna take it home. Only 16 minutes to go in this 24-hour race in Bulgaria. Whew. It's gonna be sweaty here. He's currently P7 on track. The leaders are pitting right now. Everyone in front of us has done their final pit stop, so he's literally just got to chase down the car in front of him. So yeah, I think it's gonna be tough to get in the top 5. I'm not gonna lie, but I have faith in Lubo. So let's see what he can do out there.
We could tell even from watching from the sidelines that Lubo was pushing as if it was qualifying. You can see him already closing the gap to the Red Racing crew. We were still very much feeling in the mix of this race, but at the same time, we couldn't shake the feeling that we might be missing something.
24 hours of hard racing, literally sleepless nights. It's all come down to this. It looks like there were more teams behind us that we weren't really paying enough attention to. We thought we only had Red Racing to worry about, but looks like there were quite a few more behind us who were doing the pit stop strategies maybe a little bit more effectively than us. And we're currently P7 and 35 seconds back from P6. Lubo's fast, but I don't know if he's that fast.
He is literally the fastest man on track at the moment. Winning this race is looking out of the question. We're a couple of laps down and there just simply isn't enough time even at this pace to make up that distance. But because some teams are still doing their last pit stops, we really aren't sure what position we're actually in.
I have never done an endurance karting race this competitive. And then when you consider this is probably, in terms of accomplishments, this is the most stacked team I've ever had as well for an endurance karting event. I've got 2 rental karting world champions. I've got a ridiculously fast race karter who's already testing in Formula 4 at the age of 14. This team is stacked, and even then, with I would say not so bad of a strategy, we're still running in 7 out of 54 karts. I mean, that just goes to show how ridiculous the level is for this event. If you are guys considering of doing one of these races, I'd highly recommend checking out the Karting Events Bulgaria calendar. They have races in multiple countries around Europe, and it's not just 24 hours. But man, make sure you bring your A game, because these guys, they don't mess around.
And by the way, signups for the 2026 Karting Events Bulgaria season just dropped, so I'd highly recommend checking out the link below to claim your seats before they all sell out. But anyway, we're currently P7 on track right now, but we're not sure if there's still more teams that need to do their final pit stop, so it's really anyone's guess. We will just need to keep fighting for the traffic, and we'll stay positive here on the sidelines.
Now, I might have been the weak link on the team, but my first time at this track and my first time in a SOTY World Series endurance race, and I think I held my own, considering I got thrown straight in the deep end in the pro class. Normally, if it's your first time, you typically would only at least start in silver, let alone gold or pro. So I'm honestly quite proud of myself for sticking through it, and I want you guys to be able to do races like this, like many of the other Karting Handbook students we have here. But if you guys really want to take your driving to the next level, we're doing a 50% off promo on the Karting Handbook using the discount code on screen, and we're running that to the end of the year. This is the biggest discount we're going to do all year, so if you guys want to take your driving to the next level, now's the time to do so. Checkered flag is coming out. Just the fact that the karts survived, the people survived, even the catering staff basically ran all the way through the night serving food all the way. Like, this is a test of mind, body, and soul for a race like this, and I think this one is the hardest one I've had yet.